Hey everyone, this is Craig. I'm not going to make the show tonight. I'm on the road with Bellator at the Mohegan Sun. Catch us tomorrow night on Showtime and YouTube. The prelims will be on YouTube and Bellator's homepage, Bellator.com. I'm leaving you in the hands of these two functioning morons. So good luck. Have fun. I hope the show's good. Probably sucks since I'm not there, but typical. Thanks, guys.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another edition, the 18th episode of the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society. I am Jeremy Johnson, along tonight with Jim Ranch. Of course, you just heard from Cutman Craig Nasello, who decided that, number one, he said we were very capable hands. I'm at least happy about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Surprisingly, he agreed to say that. It may have cost us, but he said it.
Right, exactly. And then he called us morons, but it's fine. So, no, tonight I am so stoked about this episode. As you can see in front of us, we're playing a big one tonight. Everybody in the bourbon world talks about Blanton's. Why? I don't know. Jim, what do you think it is? I mean, I know that it was in the movie John Wick and that became like a thing, but what do you think was really the kind of the big kick that made Blanton's?
I think it's the marketing of it, the appeal, it's the horse racing. So it's got the stoppers on it and that. So it's got its own little niche with that. Do I think it's one of the greatest bourbons? There's a lot that are a lot better, but it's one that I do enjoy, and it's a nice sipper. So I give it credit. I do enjoy it for that aspect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I dig the fact that, number one, there isn't, and a lot of people don't know that there is more than one. There's a whole lot of variety behind it. Now, they're all single barrel bourbons.
Yep.
There are multiples for, talk through kind of what we've got in front of us here, because I know we have one from Poland, we have a couple from Japan, some pretty cool stuff. So
Yeah, and one thing about Blanton's that's nice is, so it's single barrel, but at the same time, where you get so many other bourbons that you've got your barrel proof or you've got your rye. Blanton's, the proof changes across all of them.
yes,
Down here on the right, which is one of my favorites down here, it's on our right, your left, the Blanton straight from the barrel. This one, I believe, is 131 proof.
and that's hot.
That's pretty hot for a bourbon. Then we come to Takara Red, and we'll speak to Takara in a second on what that entails. I think that's a 93 proof. Then we've got the Katara Gold, which is 103 proof. And what's special about that is it's an 8-year bourbon versus 6.
Right.
So it's actually aged 2 more years. And it's at least 2 more years is what they say. So it could be more. Blanton's never gives the age
No, they
on
don't
the
do
bottle,
age
so you don't
statements.
know. But most of your single barrels are 6-year. The Qatar Gold is at least 8 years. It's at 103 proof. Then we've got it's the M&P from Poland, from a festival in Poland. That's a 98 proof. That's the blue label one there.
And that
And you
is
notice the horse is
hard
considered-
to find.
The horse is even a different color. It's not even your normal bronze. It's darker. It looks.
Well, I'm stoked to do this one tonight. It's kind of our callback to, we didn't get to do a show for the Kentucky Derby, and Craig hates horse racing, so he's not here, so we're going to do it anyway.
But Craig loves Blanton's.
Absolutely.
So another reason we did Blanton's tonight is in honor of Craig not
Right.
being here.
Exactly.
Because we don't have to share it with him.
Yeah, definitely. So, but tonight I'm going to make you what is the drink of the Kentucky Derby, and that's the mint julep. Now, I'm going to do the traditional version of it with fresh mint, simple syrup. It generally is a sugar cube, but we're going to go simple syrup and do it that way. So, all right, we're going to start off tonight with that. You need a julep, a mint julep cup, or a mule cup, or just a standard rocks glass. All of them will work. Take about 8 sprigs of mint. Slap them in your hand. Get them all to wake up. Makes that oil smell good. Rub it on the outside of the glass just like that. Toss it inside. You are going to take then a ½ ounce of simple syrup.
And while Jeremy's doing that, one thing that stands out is when you use fresh mint, you get it on your nose, not just the flavor of it in a drink, but you get it on the nose as well.
Oh, it smells amazing. And then we're going to do something we haven't done, because every cocktail I think I've ever made on this was shaken. So we are going to muddle. We're going to muddle those together. That means we're going to take them and we're going to smash them down good. Gets all of that mint oil going into that sugar. Makes for a nice sweetness. So then after you get that muddled, the best part about this is you need crushed ice. Crushed ice is super important in this drink, and you are going to fill up the cup with crushed ice, okay? To the point that you get it all over the top of it. Once you get there, take your bourbon. Oh, Jimmy, which one should we do? I mean, we're playing the horse racing wise here, so let's do it. Which one should we pick? You pick it. I will make the rest of it with it.
Let's go a little bit higher proof, and let's go ahead and go with the Katara, that 103.
All right. So then we're going to take 1.5 ounces of your Blanton's bourbon. And there is a reason why Blanton's bourbon and the Kentucky Derby go together. Drop that in over the top. Give yourself one more mint sprig. Take it, give it a smack, give it over the top, drop it in the cup, give it a quick shake, and that's how you make a real mint julep.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Oh, Lord, that's good. All right. So I mentioned that Blanton's and the Kentucky Derby and horse racing kind of go together. We know Woodford Reserve was the official, but they bought that. Right. So there is a reason behind that, and that is that we're going to give you a little bit of the history of why Blanton's came about. A big bourbon that everybody talks about is Elmer T. Lee. Well, Elmer T. Lee was a real person, and Elmer T. Lee was actually the master distiller of the Buffalo Trace Distillery. And he wanted to pay homage to his mentor, Mr. Albert B. Blanton, who was also, at one point in time, the master distiller. Yep. And there was a lot that went into for Elmer T. Lee to even get the job.
Yeah, I mean, he had actually applied once and was told, it was 35 years before Blanton's was released for the first time, had applied and was told, hey, sorry, we're not hiring today, or we don't need any help today, is what it really boiled down to. And he left and wound up further in his career back there being master distiller.
Yeah, and said that he had learned a lot from, Albert B. Blanton. Well, Albert B. Blanton loved horse racing. Absolutely loved horse racing. And so what he would do is every time that the Derby came around, he would go into the rick houses and he would search all of the barrels, high and low. He would taste and he would sample. And what he would do is he would pick the best single barrel that he found and take it for himself. And so he would take it for him and his friends. And that is why Blanton's is a single barrel bourbon only. To further pay homage to the fact that it was all about the horse racing, they created the tops. So as you can see, on top of the Blanton's bottle is a horse race. But what a lot of people don't know is that there is actually little letters on the sides that spell out Blanton's. And it takes it to the stages of the race. So this is obviously a bottle that's a B because it's the beginning of the race. And as they go on through it, that will get to the point where the jockey is raising his hand as you go through. It's a thing to collect them all, but it's also a thing that you have to drink them to get them. And so
there wasn't always a letter on it.
No, there wasn't.
The letter was not always there. That came around like 2003 or 4, right. I believe.
Yeah, because, so believe it or not, Blanton's has only been around since 1984. I mean, so there isn't a whole lot of time in it, but it's one rick house on the property, and it is.
What warehouse is it?
Oh, please. Let it. Yeah, it's.
I was curious if you knew.
I did know that. But it's one of those that everybody wants it, and this is actually probably the most requested bourbon that we get is, well, what do you think of Blanton's? Well, tonight we're going to tell you. So, Jimmy, tell us about what we have in front tonight as we move into, we're going to actually do a sip, sink, and save tonight with them. So talk about what we've got here.
So the three we're doing are the three in the middle here. We've got the Blanton's Gold, which is your typical 103 proof 6-year. We've got the Takara Gold, which is an 8-year 103 proof. And then we've got the Takara Red, which is a 93 proof. Takara is only released in Japan. So it's Japanese releases. And Takara Shuzo, actually in 91, bought a stake in Blanton's in the point that they owned for Buffalo Trace all of the foreign releases.
Yeah,
of it. So that includes Ancient Age, Blanton's, and Elmer T. Lee, ironically.
You made an interesting comment, though. You said Ancient Age. I find this one interesting. This is the one when everybody asks me, well, I can't find. And I would like to mention, though, that Mr. Nasello has said that we suck without him in the comments here tonight. But that's all right.
Thank you, Craig.
We miss you too, buddy. No. people talk about it. They're like, well, I can't find Blanton's. What's close? Well, Ancient Age, which is a $15 bottom of the shelf bourbon that is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite drinking bourbons, is the same thing as Blanton's at 80 proof. It's a little lower of a proof, but it is the same mash bill. It has the same age, about the 6 years.
Different warehouses, a difference.
Yep, different warehouses, but is the same basic profile that if you can't find Blanton's, you can go get a bottle of Ancient Age and try it. So, but tonight we are going to do our sip, sink, or save with those three. So I think we get right to it, Jimmy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think we're both very similar on our thoughts today.
I think you're right.
Again, the three we've got are the Blanton's Gold, the Takara Gold, and the Takara Red. And Takara Red's actually one of my favorites.
But can we take a mention to say that we didn't even bother to throw regular Blanton's into the mix? I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well just do it and do it big.
Well, I mean, and I was really torn. Straight from the barrel is actually, because I'm a higher proof.
Right.
I love the straight from the barrel. And it's like, let's keep it a little more consistent because of that. Because 130 proof versus 103, huge difference. These three are actually closer together. So with that, as much as I like Blanton's Gold, red's going to be my sipper.
Interesting. All right.
I mean, it's got on the nose, you get that vanilla, you get a little bit of sweetness to it. Very good, and the palate's very good on it too. Then very smooth, nice finish to it. For 93 proof versus the 103 Gold, it's got a little bit more. I don't want to say burn, but you get a little more flavor on the end.
Okay.
In my mind.
Fair, very fair. As a matter of fact, that's actually what I have in the Glencairn at the moment. So
my sink is going to be the Blanton's Gold. And again, this is what's interesting when we do this sip, sink, and save. Is,
I love these. This is like when we did it for Pappy's.
yeah, nobody's going to pour it down the drain,
No.
honestly. But out of the three, it's my least favorite. And
That's fair.
when you compare it to the other ones, it just seems like it's flat on the nose, and you don't get a lot of flavor profile compared to the other two. If you had it by itself, you're not going to notice it. But when you put them side by side, it doesn't seem like it as much. And my save is going to be the Takara Gold. It's interesting. You get a little bit of citrus with it. And it's just very smooth. That extra 2 years goes a long way.
I find that interesting that we are getting comments now, too, that this is the bougiest one that we've ever done of this. So that does happen. It is what it is. Also, Craig throws in here that he is going to sink the gold, sip the red, and save the blue. Ain't nobody opening the blue, buddy. I'm just telling you now. So, yeah. But I tend
That's going to take a wedding or something, Craig.
Hint,
hint.
Cheers, my friend. Katie will love that. Anyway, let's
wait for
get
that
back here to what we're doing. All right. So, ballpark it back together here. Sip, sink, and save. Jimmy, give them all to him. Sip, sink, and save.
So my sip's the red.
Okay.
Sink is the regular gold. I'm going to save the Takara Gold.
All right. So, I find this one interesting. Number one, these are a lot of bottles that we're going to hear about because no one can find these. As a matter of fact, we've had a couple people who have, I've seen a couple of messages go by that, where did you even get them? We're not going to discuss where we got them. We're not going to discuss what we paid for them. We're just going to let it go.
I will say didn't pay stupid dollar for any. That I will say.
That is fair.
I'll leave it at that. I did not go pay secondary prices to get these.
No, we didn't. So, all right, my sip, I am going to agree with you, is going to be the Takari Red. You're going to get an extreme amount of vanilla on the nose. It is so super sweet. It has this aroma of almost vanilla ice cream to me. Going over the middle, you're going to get some very nutmeggy notes to it. So it's kind of got a little bit of spice there over the middle. And then it just has this super smooth finish. It has, for a 90, I believe it's 93 proof, it has a very nice finish to it. It can be a sipper just straight out of the Glencairn. Amazing stuff. That is going to be my sip. My sink is going to be the Blanton's Gold. And I hate to say that because it's still an amazing bourbon, but it's very comparative to the others, it's weak on the nose. You don't get a lot of anything.
No.
And that kind of surprises me, and it actually makes me wonder if it was this particular barrel that happened, because I have had other golds that had more of a floral nose. But that is what you get with single barrels. I mean, it's one barrel. It's a dump. You get 220 to 250 bottles, and that's it. So that is going to be my sink. And then the Takari Gold is definitely going to be my save. Number one, higher proof. So you have the ability to make it into cocktails. You have, which if you do it with this, you're not good.
I was going to ask how it is with that. I mean,
it actually is
the fact
really,
that we took a higher end blend.
It actually is really, really good. But you're going to get a lot of citrus notes in the front. There is a lot of orange peel. There is a lot of almost lemony scent to it. Over the middle, you're going to get almost gingerbread to apricot, which I know sounds crazy to even think, but it's true. And then the finish is a little more fiery, but not huge. And so that is why I am going to sip Takari Red, I am going to sink Blanton's Gold, and I am going to save the Takari Gold. So let us know what you would do on our socials. That is on Twitter, at MMA Bourbon, on Instagram, MMA Bourbon Society. Craig's talking.
And Craig responded, "Not mine."
Yes, because he's got his own collection going on over there. So,
well, I think it was towards my comment.
Well, that's fair too. That's very fair. We're not going to talk about that, but no. So Jimmy, though, what else is going on in the bourbon world? I know that we're going to see a really interesting E.H. Taylor release coming up.
Yeah, we got the Warehouse C coming out, which is going to be interesting in honor of Colonel Taylor.
Now, I was going to say, talk about what Warehouse C is. That's really that was Colonel Taylor's warehouse.
That was his main warehouse.
And the cool thing is that if you ever go to Buffalo Trace, like we all have, that's the one that is literally right next to the gift shop as you walk in.
Yep.
And so it gets all the weather. It gets all the changes, the flavoring. I cannot wait for this one. And it has survived storms. It survived heat waves. And it survived the tornado.
Yep.
And that's one of the very few that did.
And that's interesting because this is the second release from that.
Yeah, and I am super stoked for it. I hear that it is going to be next to impossible to find, kind of like the Tornado series that they did, which was all the barrels that... I like what E.H. Taylor does with that stuff. It's all the same mash bill.
Yep.
But it's... All right, it was this Rick House. This happened. We did these 4 grains in it, which is... Seriously, if you really get down to it, it's all 4 grains that are in bourbon anyway.
Right, but they don't normally have a 4 grain with E.H. Taylor. So
and
similar, we got different proofs here. E.H. Taylor actually changes theirs up for that.
Yeah, completely.
The 18-year marriage where they married 2 different together.
And I remember distinctly carrying that out of a store one night for someone who was at this table. And it's still sitting downstairs. Trust me, folks. You'll never see one in the wild anymore. I mean, it's hard. That's the craziest thing with these is that we're gonna get the questions. Where'd we get it? How'd we do it? What would be your pep talk for the audience on how to start the hunt? Because these are unicorns to a lot of people.
Yeah, these are unicorns with a lot of people. I mean, all these are uncommon to rare. If you look at the Blanton site, but get to know your distributors, not your distributors, but your liquor store owners. If you've got one in the neighborhood, we've got one right out here in St. Peter's that I stop in regularly. I know when Jeremy comes over on Thursdays, he stops in.
We broadcast in St. Peter's, Missouri, which is right outside of St. Louis, Midwest. So you got to remember, we got a lot of fans all over the country. So,
but I mean, get to know your local guys. Be a regular. Go to the store. If you got to pick up a bottle, whether it's you're going to a barbecue or something, stop in and pick something up, no matter how big or small it is.
And buy something.
Yeah.
Don't just walk in and go, hey, do you got any Blantons behind the counter? No. Walk up, buy a bottle. Support your local businesses. That's the biggest thing. Once you build those relationships, I mean, tonight, literally, I mean, it's not a big one, but, I got a rare breed rye from Wild Turkey that is near impossible to find and still only a $65 bottle of bourbon. But he held me one.
Yeah.
He only had a case, and he held them for his quote-unquote best buyers.
And that's what it boils down to.
Absolutely.
You get lucky enough that if they get a Blanton's in stock or you get an Eagle Rare, which is crazy how stupid that's getting to find right now. Buffalo Trace is hard to find.
That's insane. What do you think it is? Why is it? Why is everything so damn hard to find?
I think a lot of it is you've got so many more people who have gotten into the bourbon.
It's fair.
I'm going to call it the bourbon game, honestly, because a lot of people drink it, but there's so many people that are grabbing bottles.
You know who I
to
blame?
flip.
You know who I blame? The millennials. I blame the damn millennials on this. And producer Matt's looking at me because he's a millennial, but it's fine. It's one of those that it has become now it's the hip thing to have. Mm-hmm. And so all of these kids are out there, and they're going in, and they are clearing the shelves of Buffalo Trace, a $30 bottle of whiskey. And so it's come to the point that, I know that's Craig's favorite whiskey. So we got to find them for him whenever we're out. If he can't find them, we got to get them. And so it's so crazy that it's now become this giant hunt.
It is.
But I do agree that I think the money that people are making on the secondary market is pretty crazy.
The secondary market's stupid when it comes to it, especially for bottles that you used to be able to find regularly.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're going for stupid dollars.
Well, and the other thing, though, is that, like, it has now become, it's a game. And you can't go into you have to go into a store and have to spend enough money to ask for a bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Well, and there's some that if you want to get in their lottery, you've got to spend X amount of dollars, and you get a ticket for every price point in there that you've spent. You get for the drawing for it. I was in Pennsylvania this past week. Not this week, but last week. And they're actually state-run liquor stores. Mm-hmm. So I went out on a hunt. I mean, I got lucky enough the week before in Flagstaff to find a few things at retail, which was cool. But in Pennsylvania, they're state-run. So anything that's an allocated bourbon is lottery through the state. You can't just go in and buy it off the shelf. They can't put it at secondary prices. You've got to enter the lottery and be lucky enough to be drawn.
Well, and that leads me into my next subject, which has been this. I actually saw this on the news this past weekend, is that the big thing now is counterfeit bourbon. People are buying bottles off of Craigslist, off of eBay of high dollars. They're buying Blanton's Gold bottles. They're buying Pappy Van Winkle bottles if you've got real ones. And they're refilling the juice and then selling them.
Yep.
Or they're printing their own labels now and doing their own bottles with shrink wrap off of Amazon because, believe it or not, the shrink wrap colors matter. That's a big deal that if you don't know what you're buying. So watch it, kids, when you're buying stuff off the internet. If you buy that $3,000 bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 20-year and it's got a black label or a black shrink wrap on it, that's fake because they're actually maroon.
Know who you're buying from.
Yeah, know who you're buying from. Know the characteristics.
Yep.
It was funny. I watched them. They actually did an E.H. Taylor 4-grain. And E.H. Taylor 4-grains have a very specific way that they do a number at the bottom of the bottle and how they wrap the tax stamp around. Well, this was at a liquor store, purchased, and it was fake. The news crew actually took it to Buffalo Trace and sent it. I'll actually link that onto our Twitter, so go check that out at MMA Bourbon if you want to see this article, because it's really interesting to watch.
Yep.
So, all right, though. If you have a question about bourbon, let us know on our Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, or check us out, of course, on all the outlets, iHeartRadio and Spotify. All right. Now, Jim, we are talking MMA. Craig, of course, out in Bellator, and there was some big Bellator action. They're bringing fans back. Yeah. How big is that?
That's huge. I mean, the fact that they're starting to bring it back, you're going to be there. I mean, that's big for the events. I mean, they've been lucky enough that they could keep going without the fans because they had a contract going with a promotion or with TV and that. But yeah, the fact that they can bring fans back is huge. I'm excited about it.
That has been, I think, the biggest thing that everyone has talked about with the UFC is that they are selling out every event within moments. Jimmy, we're about to kill this, just FYI there. Sorry about that. We're going to save a little bit for producer Matt back there. Just so.
Is that the red?
That is the red.
We're okay with that.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I know you got another one downstairs. It's okay. But, yeah, fans coming back is huge. With my work with Shamrock FC, we're going to have a 2-night with 100% capacity at the casino here in St. Louis, Missouri, and that's going to be broadcast on Fight TV. But they have a big card tomorrow that Craig is involved in, and that is gigantic, where Leslie Smith taking on Chris Cyborg.
I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Smith is I mean, she's hard-nosed.
Absolutely.
And she will go in there, but, I mean, you go back 5 years to the last fight, and at that point, she took the fight last minute, or on short notice, I should say.
So good.
Fought at 15 pounds above her normal fight weight.
Yeah, I mean,
So she wasn't in normal training camp on bet for it. Matt.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it was a minute and a half fight. Didn't even last a minute and a half. So I'm really curious to see how this one goes, especially 5 years later, both older. But
Completely.
I mean, Cyborg is just she's Cyborg.
She's
sorry.
still a monster,
Yeah.
and especially since moving to Bellator, it's a tough fight for Leslie Smith. By the way, cheers to Ricky Trevor, who is in the comments tonight. Thank you very much. So
Ricky, good to hear from you, brother.
that's right. The thing that I am looking forward to, though, with that fight is I want to see, number one, Leslie got her ear popped in the last one, and it was gross, and the referee stopped it. I want to see what happens with 100% training camp and makes it through. She has always been an amazing striker. She has a very decent ground game. She's a little bit taller than Cyborg, but she is a bit lankier. So, and then we had some crazy UFC action as Bellator champ Michael Chandler steps in the ring, and it went not his way. St. Louis or Missouri's own, talk us through the Chandler Oliveira fight.
I mean, it was a fight. I mean, it came in, they were even the first minute or so, staying up with each other, back and forth on the takedowns. Then, what's interesting to me with it, and then goes into the second round, and Oliveira he stepped up. I mean, they both had opportunities to finish the fight in the first.
Absolutely.
And neither one could, and he caught him just right early in the second and finished it. But what's interesting to me is the 10-8 first round. I'm not sure what two of the officials were watching. I mean, it's like an umpire in Major League Baseball who was blinded by a scoreboard a couple weeks ago. That's how bad that 10-8 round was to me. I think Chandler could have won the round, but a 10-8 round, there's no way in hell. It's embarrassing, and I think pro sports all the way around really need to look at who's officiating. I mean, that would have been bad. Luckily, it didn't go to the scorecard, but that 10-8 round easily it could have changed the outcome.
100%. And I think that there needs to be something for judging in the world of mixed martial arts. I understand that they've come out whenever the latest rules came out that they were looking for more 10-8 rounds. I don't see it in the world of MMA unless you are just literally on top doing complete damage. Your opponent can't move off the ground. He can't move off the cage. He can't do something because it all stems from boxing. The 10-point must scoring system comes from boxing. And if you get knocked down in boxing, that's your 10-8.
Exactly.
I get it. But in MMA, it's supposed to be if your opponent cannot do anything. And that by far was not it.
That was not the case. I mean,
at all.
Even when they had control, nobody had dominated from Mount.
No. It wasn't anything that deserved it. So, but great fight there. Oliveira taking the big win.
He earned it.
Absolutely.
I mean, he stepped up and won it. I mean, and honestly, with Chandler, there was no shame in that fight, I don't think. He stepped up, and he got caught with it. I mean, first round, he won.
Yeah.
So,
and it absolutely. So, great fights though out of the UFC. More stuff coming from them, but this one I have to throw into the mix because producer Matt dropped this on us.
is this the GSP De La Hoya?
Oh no!
Well, let's go there first.
Oh no! All right, we are gonna
We're
go.
going to finish with the bomb, I think.
Okay, all right,
I'm
gonna
going to call the audible on you for
All
a
right,
change.
that's fair. I will take that one. All right. GSP versus Oscar De La Hoya was supposed to go down, and Dana White said, there is not a way in hell that I am going to let GSP go fight this man.
My opinion?
I could tell you mine. Go for it.
Dana has nothing to gain from GSP fighting. He's not coming back to make him in money after it.
And he's not under contract.
So he's just going to say, hell no, it's not happening,
Yeah.
and control it. Because he's got nothing to earn from it.
So what it is I think that GSP still is under quote-unquote contract with the UFC, and that's why Dana White can tell him what he can and can't do in the fight world.
But he's let other fighters fight.
It's GSP.
That's my point.
But
he's not fighting, and he's never going to fight in the UFC again.
And there was also a gigantic thing that was said by Dana White at a press conference about Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't like him.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was that there was talk of the Triller, and the question was posed is Oscar De La Hoya wants to fight, and Dana White says it's about money, or it was brought up that it was basically about money, and Dana White goes, well, cocaine's expensive.
Yep.
And I am not going to say anything to the fact that I have ever seen Oscar De La Hoya in a casino, because I work in certain circles in that area. But I could not believe that went out.
Yeah.
I do understand that Dana White is trying to protect the GSP image because he owns it. He owns the images of GSP.
Right.
That is the craziest thing that people don't understand in television, is that you may be you, but you don't own your name and your likeness rights.
And GSP let that happen on his own.
Absolutely. But, if Dana White says it's all about the coke money, whatever. Let him fight Snoop Dogg, since apparently they're beefing now, too.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Give us your thoughts. Should GSP fight Oscar De La Hoya? Because, it's both a couple old guys who had great striking, so it would be fun.
I think it'd be an interesting fight, to be honest with you.
Please don't do it on Triller, though. I don't want any more of the damn rap music.
Well, they're not going to be on Triller anymore.
Thank God.
Where are the boys going?
Then we're going to go into it. And finally tonight, because this one
I gave you a segue after I stole it.
You did. And finally, because this one is going to send Mr. Jim Range over the edge, is that the institute that was Showtime Boxing for many years. I know, Jim, you have shot many a photo for Showtime Boxing. Has signed the Paul brothers.
They signed both or only Jake? I saw Jake. I didn't see Logan too, but
I believe that it was signed as quote unquote the Paul brothers.
Interesting.
Even if it was just Jake, Jim Range, give me your thoughts. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
No, it's all money. It is. He's got enough of a following. He hasn't earned his right to be at that level, I don't believe. But he's got the following. Showtime's going to pay the money because they're going to make the money off it. And honestly, where is Showbox at anymore?
What was the last great fight you saw on Showtime Boxing? It's been a while.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I have a real problem with this.
Oh, I do too.
I have a real problem with Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Number one, how does any commission let this happen? I would love to talk to a high-ranking official of the commission and ask them that question.
Yeah.
That how do you let a 50-0 boxer fight a guy who fights on YouTube and does whatever Logan Paul does? He's not the Pokemon. Producer Matt, is he the Pokemon card, brother?
Yeah.
That's Logan Paul?
That's Logan.
Okay. So if that's your shtick, how do you get to fight the greatest counterpuncher that ever existed?
It's all one thing. It's dollars.
Floyd Mayweather walks around with a bag with $1 million in it. In cash. In case he wants to buy something.
Yep.
I hate it. But let me know what you think on Twitter at MMA Bourbon. What do you think of the Paul brothers? Are they good for combat sports? Are they bad for combat sports? I want to hear this one bigger than anything. So,
here's what I want to see.
Oh, boy. Tell me.
No, and you've heard Ariel and those guys have said, he's got decent ability. So put him on a regional circuit. Okay. Let him earn his way to the top.
So
don't put him in there at $1 million, $5 million fight because of his following.
Oh, okay.
Make him earn his way to get there, like you do anybody else.
It'll never happen.
No,
It'll
it won't.
never happen because it just hurts my soul. I'm just going to leave it at that tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here at the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society. Jim, we got some interesting stuff coming, though. Number one, we've got a website that's going to be up in about the next probably month and a half. We've got some merchandise coming. Tell the fans what they can expect.
So we've actually got glasses ordered. We've seen the preview. We've got somebody that's going to be doing the etching for the glasses with the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society logo on it. We've got those ready to go. Probably going to have some shirts coming as well and that. But the glasses, We're going to do some Glencairns. We're going to do 2 different styles of rocks glasses, a round and a square. So
And
a
you
little
can-
bit of fun coming.
Yeah, and you could sit along and drink with us, because I think what we're going to start doing too is that we're going to put out what our cocktail is.
Yeah.
So that way you can get the ingredients and make it along with us. I think it'll be a lot of fun. More to come. We thank you very
I think
much.
the cool thing I want to throw out,
Yeah.
this is our 18th show. We got our 20th show coming up. I think we're going to come up with something cool as a giveaway for the 20th show.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. I think we should give away a bottle of something.
We could do that.
I think we should give away a bottle. All right.
I was thinking some swag, but a bottle works too.
No, I think we should do a bottle. Let's do something fun. Little swag, little bottle, little something. So
Something out to keep track of everybody who shows up for the 20th show and give something away.
absolutely. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, what do you want from our 20th show? Let us know on Twitter, on Instagram. Check us out. Find us, MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for Cutman Craig, who is knee-deep in the Mohegan Sun Casino, having fun in the comments with us. Jim Range, myself, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everybody.